Where exactly do swallows go when they fly south? When I was a child, I always thought they flew to the warmer regions south of the Yangtze River or to Hainan Island. Do you also assume they are just switching locations within the country to spend the winter? In fact, when they fly south, they might literally be going to South Africa. There are many species of swallows in China. The ones we see most often are barn swallows, which build nests under eaves using mud and saliva. Their migration routes are relatively short, typically traveling from northern China to the south, reaching as far as Southeast Asia. However, the Beijing swift, which is biologically quite distantly related to the barn swallow, has a migration route that will completely overturn your perception of flying south. In 2014, a collaborative study by Chinese and foreign scientists fully mapped the migration trajectory of the Beijing swift for the first time. Scientists fitted 31 Beijing swifts with miniature light-level geolocators. The results revealed that their destination was not southern China at all, but South Africa. Every year in late July, after completing their breeding in the north, the swifts gather and depart. However, they don't head straight south. Instead, they unexpectedly fly northwest, entering the Mongolian plateau and crossing the Tian Shan Mountains in Xinjiang. Then, following a massive arc, they fly over the vast lands of Central Asia, pass through the deserts and wilderness of West Asia, and cross the Red Sea to enter the African continent. Their journey doesn't end there. They continue south, flying over the Congo rainforest and the East African Rift Valley, finally arriving at their wintering grounds in places like South Africa, Namibia, and Botswana by late October. The entire one-way trip spans 14,700 kilometers and takes over 100 days, with footprints spanning 37 countries across the continents of Asia and Africa. This epic journey immediately raises a core question. Why do they undertake such an arduous migration? Is it merely to escape the northern cold? The core of the answer is food. Swallows are typical insectivorous birds. More accurately, they are obligate aerial insectivores, meaning they only prey on insects in flight. When winter arrives in the north and temperatures plummet, flying insects either die or enter dormancy. The swallow's food source is completely cut off. For them, the greatest threat in winter isn't the cold, but hunger. Therefore, flying south is a matter of survival. This brings up a new question. Since South Africa is warm year-round with plenty of food, why don't they just settle there permanently? Why risk their lives flying back north the following spring? Because while they can retire in the south, they cannot raise their young there. Although food resources in South Africa are stable, the ecosystem is already saturated with local species. According to the competitive exclusion principle in ecology, it is difficult for a swift weighing only a few dozen grams to compete with local birds for safe nesting sites and sufficient resources to raise chicks. Northern summers offer an unparalleled advantage for breeding, exceptionally long daylight hours and an explosion in the insect population. Longer days mean swallow parents have more time to forage and feed their hungry chicks. The surge in insects provides a nearly limitless high-protein buffet. Research shows that migratory birds can raise significantly more offspring than their relatives who remain in the tropics. Therefore, the swallow's migration is essentially a highly precise off-peak survival strategy. They rush to the northern parenting paradise of surplus resources in the summer and retreat south in the winter just to maintain survival. Unlike wild geese, however, they don't travel in family groups. They usually fly solo, and even mated pairs may travel separately. Swallows possess a precise navigation system, using the sun, stars, and the Earth's magnetic field to determine direction. With the help of this system, they can accurately find the exact house and eaves where they nested the previous year.